Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam. Barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilman ya Rabbal Alameen. Allahumma arzuqna al-ikhlasa fil aqwali wal a'mal. Allahumma ij'al 'amalana fi ridaka amin ya Rabbal Alameen. Alhamdulillah. This is the first class in the fiqh of inheritance. In the fiqh of inheritance, yani miras. And inshallah, we'll be going through this topic in the coming 10, 12 days or whatever it may take. Most probably, it should not take more than 12 days because we have done this earlier also a number of times, and it should not take more than that time, you know. And the subject of inheritance is very, very easy, and at the same time, it is very interesting because it combines on one side there is religion and on the other end there is mathematics. So religion and mathematics, they are getting agglomerated and combined into each other, and it is really beautiful. As we'll go on, you'll understand, you will see how the aslaf, they used to do the calculations without needing pen, paper, Microsoft Excel, nothing. Had nothing, none of these things, but they used to do the calculations in their mind, uh, maybe within like a second or so, not more than that. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. You may have seen people like fastest human computer. This person can do calculations in his mind. He doesn't need calculator. They were the real human calculators of the past. They gone. They left this world, but they left the legacy for us to know and learn. The prime purpose of one of the reasons why we are studying this is number one, because it is part of religion. It is part of our deen. That is why we are learning it. Number two, we should also appreciate, how our aslaf were. They were not only, like learning. They were not only, like fighting in the battlefields all the time. No, if you see the Islamic history, the number of battles which took place in the period of 23 years of prophethood was not more than 50 battles, big and small, all included. Not more than 50 battles, big and small, I am saying, included. And Prophet ﷺ, he participated in maybe around 25 battles maximum, 25 or 27 battles. And in all those battles, Prophet ﷺ, he fought, or he at his hand, and at his hand only one person was killed. Only one person was killed in all those battles. And still, what they call Islam is a barbaric religion. They are the ones who see Islam with a biased mind and a biased, like focus and aim, and they malign the image of Islam. Why? Because they aren't aware of Islam. This is also part of Islam, which is purely academic, absolutely academic, which Allah is teaching us to distribute the inheritances in a way that it is supposed to be. So this is an academic subject wherein you will see combination of fiqh with with mathematics, hisab. These things are getting combined together. Anyway, the first few slides I'll skip because there is, because this, as I said, this presentation was made for someone else. I gave this lecture physically at a place, so it was necessary at that time to make them know who am I. So we'll go through very quickly because it doesn't matter who am I. I have no value and worth. What is important is that the things that we are going to learn is from the book of Allah. It is, we heard it upon the tongue of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is passed down to us through a chain passing on through the generation which is the best generation which lived on the face of earth. They were the best of the people after the prophets and the messengers, the Sahaba radiyallahu alayhim ajma'in, and then through tabi'in, atba' tabi'in, and then the aslaf. And this how this knowledge has come down to us in a complete, like a chain, a perfect chain. So it doesn't matter who am I, okay? But like what I did, why I am teaching this, how am I authorized to teach this? I'll give you just a few things, not more. The my like the journey of Islamic studies, it began with the Islamic Online University. Earlier it was known as Islamic Online University. Now it is renamed. It is the university, as you know, by Dr. Bilal Phillips, Hafizahullah. I studied there a bridge program, which was a bridge between bachelor's and master's. Yani the one who has already done graduation in any stream, they can skip the graduation program of IIU and they can directly enter into master's program of IIU. However, in order for the person to get prepared to study in the master's program in Islamic studies in IIU, they have to do this bridge program, which is like 3 semesters, like 1.5 years. So I did that program first, and then I joined the master's program as well in the IOU, Masters in Islamic Studies. So this is the certificate from them. And then I have some ijazat and few things from Masjid Nabawi and the courses which I am taking, which I believe most of you are aware of. These are some ijazat, some certificates. Presently, I am learning or studying at Murtaka University or Jamia Murtaka, which is in Kuwait. It's also an online university, which is run under the supervision of Dr. Mutlaq Jasir Al Jasir, Hafizahullah. I'm in the third and final year of it, doing my specialization in fiqh, in the Hanbali fiqh. And I studied this science of inheritance from Dr. Mutlaq Jasir only. He taught a book, a Hanbali book, a fifth book by the name of Umdatul Talib. So we did this book with him, like maybe around more than 2 years, around 2 years back. At that time, I got attracted to this subject very much. And earlier, I used to think it is like one of the toughest of subjects. When I referred to, because I also had some books with me, which I purchased some 9, 10 years back on inheritance calculation. I will also share, some books also with you. I'll share some PDFs also in the group later. You can refer those PDFs and books as well. Some pictures of the books which you, if you would like, you can purchase. So I also had those books with me earlier, and I understood nothing from it, nothing by looking at the books. There is a reason, like sometimes the books, they don't serve your purpose. They are the best friends of human beings, but ultimately you need someone, and you need a teacher to explain you. To go properly in a proper, you should take a proper approach. If you want to learn and understand a particular science, you should have a teacher with you in order for you to understand. If you don't have a teacher, if you think that, no, I know Arabic, I know how to read, I know how to write, I can speak in Arabic, so I don't know it, I don't need a teacher, I will directly go and study on my own, then take it from me, you are going to end up in big problems. You are going to end up in big problems. I heard from Sheikh Zafarul Hasan Madani, Hafizahullah, if you know him. He is based in Sharjah right now. He's a from amongst the kibar, like from amongst the elder scholars from India, Hafizahullah. Sheikh Zafarul Hasan Madani, he came to my city, like he keeps on visiting, and every 6 months or like keeps on visiting different places with the purpose of dawah. Though he is in his like 70 plus, I believe he should be around 70 plus, but still he is active for the dawah purpose. He keep on roaming around all over the places. Also comes to our city. So he told a story of a person, and this story I heard from a number of teachers, not only him, but then after him I heard it from many other teachers, because this is a true story. This happened with a man. This person, he was very good at Arabic. He knew Arabic. He could understand, he could read and understand Arabic. One day he picked up a copy of Sahih al-Bukhari, a very old copy of Sahih al-Bukhari. In Sahih al-Bukhari, there is a hadith which reads, Inna fi habbati saudai dawa'an. Inna fi habbati saudai dawa'an min kulli da'in illa sam. Okay, this is the hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. This is the link in, this is the hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, that inna fi habbati soida, indeed in the black seed, dawa'an is a treatment, is a medicine, min kulli da'in, from every kind of disease, illa sama, except for death. Sam is death. So this person somehow, as I said, it was an old copy of Sahih al-Bukhari. Some fly or ant or someone, what happened? A extra dot was added somewhere. So how it changed? See, Then it started to reading. It's, when he started reading, he read inna fi hayyatis saudai. The ba, it changed into a ya. Why? Because an extra dot came there. Maybe it was a printing mistake, or maybe some fly came and it took something with it, and it got stuck there. And instead of a ba, ba has only one dot under, that shape. It has only a single dot. But if there is another dot, what it will become? What it will become? It will become a ya. It will become a ya. So this person now read it as inna fi hayyati saudai dawaan. And hayya, habba means a seed. Okay. Inna fi habbati sauda. Habbati sauda is black seed. Hab means seed, and sauda is black. Inna fil habbati saudai. So habba al habba is seed, and as sauda is black. Black seed, you all know. Kalonji. Which we normally this we eat, especially in the morning, because this hadith is sahih. So this is kalonji, which is, I think, the onion seeds. They are the onion seeds. Kalonji, black seed. Now, since it became hayya, one more dot came next to the dot of ba. So now he read it as how? Hayya. And hayya, it means al hayya is a snake. So what did he read? Inna fi al hayyati sauda dawa'an min kulli dain. That there is a treatment, a medicine from every kind of disease except for death. Now this person literally went in search of a snake, black snake, cobra, the deadliest one, and he tried to catch the snake. The snake bit him. He almost died. Ultimately, he reached the hospital, where whatever existed at that time, and almost he died. He came out of the mouth of death. Why? Because he tried to understood something out of his own mind. If he would have sit with the scholars, they would have told him that there is a mistake in this copy, or there is extra dot has come here. The actual hadith is inna fi habbati sauda, inna fi al habbati saudai dawa'an min kulli da'i illa sama. So this is the reason it is very important that we study and understand the sciences with a teacher properly, because he knows what the author is trying to say, because he had studied it from someone who has studied it from his teacher, and who has studied it from his teacher, who has studied it from his teacher, all this going back right up to the author of the book, and ultimately going back to the Sahaba and until the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the this is the speciality of our religion, the religion of Islam, that we have a chain of narration system in everything. Even if it is like any book that we are studying, book of Shaykhul Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, book of uh, Hafiz Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as we just completed yesterday, the book, we completed Fiqh Siyam Dora, in which we studied Bulughul Maram. The Bulughul Maram, it is book of Hafiz Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, wherein he has compiled the ahadith from different books and arranged it in a fiqhi chapters, in the form of fiqhi chapters. So we studied Fiqh Siyam there. So those who will clear the exam, they will get a ijaza. Ijaza means it will show you a complete chain of narration back to the author of the book, who is Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah. This shows that this knowledge has come down to us through this chain, and it is absolutely not possible that it could be a lie. And then from Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah, you can trace the chain back to the original sources of the hadith books, which could be Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abi Dawud, Tirmizi, Sunan Nasai, Sunan Ibn Majah. You can go back from there further on until it reaches back to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is the system. This is the chain system which saves us and preserves us from committing any kind of mistake. Which people who don't understand these sciences, then they have no idea about what we are doing and what we are saying. So anyway, as I said, I did this a course with the Sheikh Dr. Mutlaq Jasir Al Jasir Hafizahullah, when he was teaching Umdatut Talib. At that time, I was inclined and got very much interested with this subject. And then I studied it from few other scholars as well. Some few Indian scholars as well, like Nurul Hasan Madni Hafizahullah from Bangalore, CIS Bangalore. Also, I heard the lectures of Sheikh Kifayatullah Sanabili Hafizahullah of Bombay, IIRC. And a few others also, like definitely like uh, some Arabic lectures as well, which are done in these sciences. So did a number of books, and I got very much attracted towards this science, and I thought of teaching, because there is a lot of ignorance on this side, as we'll see as we go further. So anyway, this presentation is actually a combination of studies which I have made at different places and different books that I have referred to. And then this presentation has taken this shape, which we'll see in the days to come, inshallah. This presentation is completely in Arabic, so don't ask me to share it with you because it will not be of benefit to you. Moreover, it was made for someone else and I cannot share it. So the best thing for you is to take notes as we go, because this will go a long way when you'll make notes with your own hands. Because as you know, the Aslaf, they used to say, uh, qayyidul ilma bil kitabati. Qayyidul ilma bil kitabati. They, trap your knowledge by writing it. This is the only way to, like retain the knowledge and trap it by writing it. And it is not something bad to write the knowledge, except for those who have, like ultra fine memory, just like Abu Huraira Raziallahu anhu. So in that case, if you can memorize and remember things, then well and good. But otherwise, you can write. This will help you, uh, you know, in your journey of studies, inshallah. And you can always refer it back later when you have completed the course for revision and for teaching others. You will learn more when you teach others. You don't learn as much while you are studying as a student. Rather, you learn more when you teach it to others as a teacher. Whatever you know, teach it to others. This will further strengthen your knowledge in your mind. So anyway, uh, as I said, I did this course with Dr. Mutlaq Jasir Al-Jasir Hafizahullah, while he taught us this Umdatul Talib, the book Umdatul Talib. And then, I also got enrolled in a number of places. Like I am in the final year of Zad Academy, which is also being run from Saudi, Zad Academy. I'm in the final semester or final level of it, if you'd like to call Al Mustawa Al Rabe, the final level. Maybe in another 2 weeks, the course will complete. I'm doing also, like in the Mutaqaddim, advanced level, Al Mustawa Al Mutaqaddim, in Mahad Ibn Usaymin, Rahimahullah, which is being run by the students of Ibn Usaymin, Rahimahullah, directly. And there they teach the books of Ibn Usaymin, Rahimahullah, arranged in different, like sciences like Aqidah, Hadith, Usul, Fiqh, grammar. So they have arranged these in various levels. I'm in the fourth level right now, Alhamdulillah. Also, I'm studying Hanbali fiqh with another scholar called Muhammad Ahmad Al-Bajabir, Hafizahullah. He's a scholar from Saudi Arab. So I'm studying Hanbali fiqh books only, purely Hanbali fiqh books under him. And then there are some other institutes as well, like Ibn Malik Institute, which is like hardcore institute for learning Arabic language in Arabic totally. So these are few of the places where I'm learning, and Alhamdulillah, based on that only I got to learn so many things, and I'm able to teach you here. So these are some of the certificates which I don't think are needed. This is actually the sanad, okay, this chain of narration in the book Umdat Talib, which I got through Dr. Mutlaq Jasir Hafizahullah. So this is a complete connected chain to the author of the book, uh, Sheikh Al-Buhuti, Yunus Al-Buhuti Rahimahullah. Okay, let us go into the actual topic of Ilmul Faraid. You call it Ilmul Faraid. Faraid is also inheritance only. Either you call Ilmul Faraid, Ilmul Miras, or Fiqh of Inheritance, whatever you would like to call. But it is known as Ilmul Faraid in Arabic language. So definitely, I'll not go deep into this, definitely knowledge is very important. We should take knowledge, especially the Islamic knowledge, because Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli muslimin. Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim. So we must take this knowledge, okay, and it is important. Uh, why should we, or do we need to learn the ilmul faraid? We need to learn ilmul faraid because number one, it is part of our religion. It is part of our religion. Unfortunately, we pay almost no attention towards this science, considering it to be either it is very difficult or considering it to be as something which has no value, while this is not true. In the olden days, the Aslaf, when, like somebody used to approach a teacher, somebody when he used to approach a teacher, a sheikh, for, like joining his circles and halaqat, to include him in the halaqat, The first question they would ask is, have you memorized the book of Allah? If he would say no, they will say, go back. First memorize the book of Allah and then come back to our circles. And if he would say, yes, I have memorized the book of Allah, the second question they would ask, have you studied Ilmul Faraid? Do you know the laws and rules of Ilmul Faraid? And if would say no, they will again send him back. Don't go. First learn Ilmul Faraid and come back again. Such was the importance of Ilmul Faraid, because this science, it deals with money. It deals with the right of makhluqeen, the rights of creation, which unfortunately we really don't pay attention towards it. We don't pay and fulfill the rights of others. And this happens, like especially in our countries. This, like the Asian subcontinent, it is very common in our Asian subcontinent, wherein we don't give the rights of people to them. When a person dies, the inheritance is not distributed for like 30, 40, 50 years. The person has already died 50 years back, and his inheritance has not been distributed amongst his inheritors in the years. Why? What the society will say. Your father has died, and what kind of children are you that not your father's, like he has not yet been put in the grave, and you want inheritance of your father and money of your father? What the society will say. So in the name of what the society will say, we don't distribute this inheritance. And this is, like this could be one of the reasons of a person standing in front of Allah, wherein he will find it very difficult to answer that why you did not distribute the inheritance. Once the person has died, the wealth belongs to the inheritors. It should be distributed immediately. The moment a person dies, within, like few hours, besides preparing the dead body for, like shrouding, bathing, shrouding, and burial, this is also something which is very important, which we must pay attention to it. So this is a very important knowledge. And why we want to learn it? Because each one of us will either be an inheritor or the one who is going to be inherited. This is something which is logical. Each one of us individually, either will be inheritors. If somebody dies in our family, then we are going to be one of the inheritors who will inherit from him. Or if we have died, then we are the ones people will inherit from us. So in both the cases, we should be aware of these signs of inheritance, ilmul miras or ilmul faraid. We should be aware of this. There are a lot of online calculators available. You may say that why should we learn when the calculators are available on the website, when the scholars are present? We can always ask them. We can always ask them, why is there a need of learning it? Scholars are available, the calculators are available. As far as the calculators are concerned, I have checked a number of them. They have got mistakes. They commit mistakes. You know, and I tried it. Sometimes they commit mistakes. Number two, we are learning this, as I said, in order to, like appreciate this legacy which has reached us. That how our aslaf and the scholars, they pass down this science from generations to generations until it reached us. And we have to keep this science alive, irrespective of how advanced we have become in, like computing, in software development, in, in mathematics. Howsoever advanced have we become, we must not leave our roots the way our aslaf used to do the calculations. And you will appreciate and you will enjoy doing it that way. I am going to teach this in the days to come, that how they used to do the calculation, and we'll also do that way. Not because we are someone or we are those who dislike advancements, dislike technological advancements and the computational methods and technologies. No, it doesn't mean that. We are the ones only who have developed online calculators for doing miras calculation. So how could someone come and say that we are those who dislike technological advancements or computational technologies? We are not of those, but we want to keep the roots alive, and we want to show it to our generation to come, that this is how this science it developed, and this is how they used to do the calculations back then. What we are doing with the help of Microsoft Excel or calculators in our hands, or using pen paper, and then doing these calculations. So this is again one of the reasons for learning this science, to appreciate what our aslaf they did back then. Moreover, Allah himself, he explained the rulings concerning distribution of inheritance in his book. Unlike, like praying, fasting, Hajj. The praying, fasting, Hajj, the details are not available in the Quran. Go back and check. There are no details how to pray. How to pray a 2 unit prayer, a 2 rak'ah prayer? No details available. No, that fasting, what are the things which invalidate your fast? What is the kafara if you do, certain acts, like if you do intercourse with your wife in the daytime of Ramadan, then what is the kafara? What becomes applicable? What are consequences of it? All those details are not available in the Quran. How to do Hajj? It is not available. Allah only says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. That upon human beings, for the sake of Allah, is Hajj obligatory. It is obligatory upon you for whoever is capable of doing the journey and reaching Makkah for doing Hajj. This is the only thing which has come in the Quran, the obligation of Hajj. How to do it? It doesn't talk about it. As for this science is concerned, ilmul farai, Allah has taken the responsibility upon Himself without leaving it to human beings and the creation. He took the responsibility upon Himself and He explained what is the share of who, yani which person will take what share. Himself He told in the book in just 3 or 4 ayahs. So if you can memorize these 3 or 4 ayahs, you have memorized the shares of all the inheritors, which we'll see in the days to come, inshallah. He himself is the, what else could tell you something, what else could be bigger than this to show you the importance of this science, that Allah Himself took the responsibility of explaining what the shares are, unlike in the cases of praying and fasting and Hajj and other farais and other obligations of Islam. The verses concerning it are revealed in Surah Nisa, which means woman, which again shows the importance of this matter. People blame that Islam, it does not give the rights of women. It subjugates them. It does injustice to women. While the all the ayat concerning inheritance are revealed in this surah only, Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 11, 12, and 176. Only 3 ayah you need to memorize. I don't think it is difficult. We can memorize 3 ayah. It's not something very big. Memorize these 3 ayat, and you have memorized almost all the 6 shares. There are only 6 shares which Allah has mentioned. Only 6. 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 2/3, 1/3, 1/6. Finish. Only these 6 shares you need to memorize and know. These are given to who are those who receive these shares. So this is again another. This shows the importance of this subject. Moreover, in our society, there are so many things which are common in our society, which you have seen, like uh, especially this culture has entered into the Islamic society from non-Muslims. Like in non-Muslims, you may have heard that like a person who is like a son is disobedient to his parents, so they say now there is nothing for you from our inheritance. You will get nothing from our inheritance. They just say this and finish. This is not so in Islam. Even if the son is disobedient or the daughter is disobedient, you cannot, prevent him from inheriting from your wealth. You cannot do that. As far as his or her disobedience is concerned, Allah will take care of it. You are nobody to punish him in this dunya. His disobedience is not something which prevents him from inheriting from the wealth which you have left behind as a father or mother or whosoever, or a husband or whosoever. You cannot deny that right to him. Unfortunately, we see this very common in newspapers. You may have seen this by the name of Aqnama. Aqnama. In the Urdu newspaper, this comes a lot. Aqnama. What they do in this Aqnama? They declare that this son is a disobedient son of ours, and we, prevent him from inheriting anything from us. They declare this in newspapers, Muslim families, by the name of Aqnama. And this is something which is absolutely not allowed in Islam. Even if the son or the daughter is disobedient to parents, they don't listen to them, or they do whatever, but they cannot be prevented from inheriting from their parents. Allah will take care of them on the day of judgment. Okay, so this is common. Even incidences of murders, they are seen because of lack of knowledge of ilmul faraid. Incidences of murders were found wherein a son killed the father. Why? Because the father gave the cream property to for example, the younger son. Why? Because the father was living with the younger son. So he gave the cream property to the younger son, because of which the elder son got angry and killed the father. Why? Because the father wasn't aware of this, that if I am giving gift to a son, to a to a son in my life or to a daughter in my life, then I have to give it equally amongst each one of them, irrespective of with who I am living, irrespective of who is obedient to me and who is not. Irrespective of that, if you are giving a gift to one of them, you have to give equally to the others, almost equally to the others. Otherwise, such kind of incidences are going to come. We also heard the cases wherein people come and they try to raise questions at the Islamic Sharia. Muslims or themselves, they come and they raise doubts and concerns about the Islamic Sharia. How barbaric Islam is. There is no sensitivity in Islam. Who are saying? Muslims. They're coming and they say this. Why? Father of, a son died. A son died. This son had small children. Okay, these are like grandsons or like grandchildren. So a son died. Now this son has children who are like the grandsons of the father of this person who died. So see, imagine the situation. A man died. A man died. He uh, had a father, or he has a father who is alive, and then this person who died, he also has small young children, like 3 years, 4 years age. Small children, they are alive. And this person's wife, she is alive. This person died. His wife is alive. His, for example, one son is alive. Now, this person who has died, he also has brothers and sisters, other brothers, which means now the grandson, this child, okay. Now, this person he died. Now, the grandfather of this child, small child, okay, the grandfather of he also dies later. He also dies later. Now, if this grandfather who now died of this person, of this child, the grandfather of this child, if he is not aware of the like the rulings of ilm al faraid, then this grandson will not inherit anything from his grandfather. Why? Because the other sons of that person are alive, and they will block this grandson from inheriting anything from his grandfather. And this is like absolutely established. There is no disagreement amongst the scholars in this, that this grandson will not inherit anything from his grandfather if other sons of this person who died are alive. Okay. But then there are those who say Islam is, so insensitive religion. A small child, he's an orphan. Where will he go? He is such a small child. Where this wife of this person, where she will go? From where will they inherit? What will happen to them? All of these things, yani, if a person is knowledgeable, he has studied the ilmul faraid, he will, before his death itself, he will allocate some portion of his wealth, which is known as wasiya. He will do the wasiya in the name of this grandson, who he knows that he is going to get blocked. He will not receive anything from inheritance. Just because of this knowledge, he will make a will in favor of this grandson that gives, for example, X amount to them before distributing the inheritance. And this a person can do this. It is within his right. Before he dies, he can make will in favor of those who are not going to become inheritors. So will can be made in favor of those who are not going to become inheritors. When will it be possible? When you have the knowledge of ilmul faraid. And if you don't have the knowledge of ilmul faraid, later the people, they'll stand up and they'll call names to Islam. They will call it an insensitive religion. Why? Because of their lack of knowledge. Since they did not know this science, ultimately they are blaming what and who? They are blaming Islam. So this knowledge is very important. Okay, these are some of the like false practices amongst us, which I just explained. Uh, Number one is taqsim tariqati qabla al-maut al-muarris. This has also become very common in our society, wherein we distribute the inheritance even before the death of the person, like especially the father of the family, the main male person, the male head of the family. What he does, I don't want my children to fight after me. So what I want to do is I would like to distribute my wealth amongst my children even before my death. Exactly the way it is done after my death. This is not permissible. As we will see, what are the shurut, the conditions of distributing the inheritance. And one of the condition itself is the death of this person. The death of the person is one of the first of the conditions, is that the person should have died. Then only you can distribute. Otherwise, you cannot distribute the inheritance. Those who have tried to done that, they have regretted it. They have regretted it. gave everything to their children. Ultimately, the children, they kick them out of the house. They kick them out of the house. They spend their remainder of life, in these old age homes. Also, the hadith of Numan ibn Bashir, just like I said, uh, if you give gift to one child, out of like many which you have, two, three, four children, if you are giving to one of them, then you must give equally to all others. You cannot give one to the exclusion of others. This would be injustice. Prophet ﷺ, he denied becoming a shahid, a witness to such kind of injustice. When Numan ibn Bashir went with his father Bashir Raziyallahu anhuma, they both were companions, and his mother of Numan Raziyallahu anhu was also a companion. So she sent her husband Bashir that go take your child to the Prophet ﷺ and make him a witness that you are giving him a gift. Prophet ﷺ asked him, do you have other children? So he said yes. Prophet ﷺ said, have you given the same thing to others? He said no. Prophet ﷺ said, then don't make me a witness over injustice. So this is injustice. If you are in your life, if you are giving gift to your children, you should give them equally. Equally doesn't mean actually like if you are given 100 rupees to this one, then you should also give 100 rupees to that one. Equally, it simply means that you should fulfill the needs of each one of them according to what they need at that point in time. Like a son is in need of, for example, an operation, and he needs like 1 lakh rupees for the operation. So you will give him 1 lakh rupees for the operation and get his operation done. The other son, he needs for his study. If you don't pay, he will not be able to enroll into the college or the school. So you are paying 50,000 rupees. Now he cannot come and say, no, you gave him 1 lakh, give me 50,000 more. No, the father is fulfilling the need that you have. This is what is known as equality and justice. This is what is equality and justice. It doesn't mean giving each one of them, I gave 1 lakh to him. So, but no, it is like in case if you are giving a piece of land to one of them, then that's a different story. You have to give exactly the same area of land to other children as well. So I believe this is something which is logical and it is easy to understand. Now, what is, as I said, the meaning of faraid? What is the meaning of faraid? Faraid, it simply means the mawaris. It is the inheritance, faraid. And it is a science by which we know what are the shares of those who are inheritors. Through this science, ilmul faraid, we come to know of the shares of those who are inheritors. And these are fixed shares mentioned in the book of Allah, as I said, in Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 11, 12, and 176, the last ayah of Surah An-Nisa. Okay. Now, once a person has died, once a person has died, uh, his wealth, he has X amount of wealth, which he left behind. The person has died and he has left behind X amount of wealth. This X amount of wealth, what are the areas where this amount will be spent? What are those areas where this amount will be spent? Okay. So remember one thing. Okay. See, if you can memorize this. Okay. If you can memorize. Just a minute. Let me. Okay. Okay. It is not working for some reason. Anyway, Tadum. Remember Tadum. Tadum. Ta dal wow mim. Tadum. Okay. So with this, you will be able to remember the places where the money, the leftover money, or this person which he left behind, what are the areas where this money has to be spent then? So it is Tadum. Tadum, the first thing is from with the Ta. These are initials actually. Tadum are initials for four things. So if you memorize this Tadum, you will be able to memorize those areas where uh, the money or this money, leftover money has to be spent after the death of the person in order. in this order only, which I mentioned, tadum, in the order of tadum. What is this tadum? The ta, it stands for tajheez. Tajheez means preparing the mayyit, preparing the dead for the final journey of your burial. So all the expenses which are required for preparing the dead, they fall under tajheez of the mayyit, preparing the mayyit for the burial. Now, what it includes? It includes like for the kafan, which you purchase to shroud the body of the dead. So kafan has to be purchased from his money only, this leftover wealth. Likewise, means there are like some places where you have to pay for the grave also. A nominal money or amount has to be paid to the corporation or the body under which it falls. So you pay it, or the waqf or whatever it may be. You have to pay for the grave. Likewise, some places, even for washing also they need money. They wash it in exchange for some money, and in bathing or giving wash to the body before shrouding. So money has to be given to those people who come and wash. So all of these expenses have to be done from the leftover wealth of this person, from the leftover wealth of this person. So that falls under tajheez, the ta. The ta of the tadum is for tajheez, preparation of the mayyit for the final journey. Then you have tadum, you have a dal. The dal, it stands for dain, which is loan. This loan is of two types. One is the loan of the makhluk, the creation, and the other is the loan of Allah. Allah also has a dain upon us. Like a person, he died while, like, Hajj was obligatory upon him. He did not do Hajj, and he was wealthy, he was healthy, but he did not do Hajj, which means Hajj has become obligatory upon him, but he did not do out of negligence, laziness. So this Hajj has to be performed on behalf of this person even after his death. So what is to be done? Take out money from his leftover wealth, which is known as tarika. This tarika means leftover wealth. Okay, a tarika means leftover wealth. So take out the money which is needed for getting the Hajj done on behalf of this person from the tarika. For example, if it is 4 lakh rupees, remove 4 lakh rupees before distributing the inheritance amongst the inheritors. So first thing, you have to do tajheez, kafan, dafan, all those washing, these kind of activities. Money for it has to be taken from tarika. Okay. Once you have taken that money, whatever remains, you have to settle the loans, the dain of the makhluk and dain of the Allah. Now, dain of makhluk, it takes precedence over dain of Allah, which means this person has, like he took some loan, borrowed money from some person. So the money, the loan of that person should be settled first from this tarika before it distributing it further. So first settle the loans. It may be that he might have mortgaged something to someone, like he had a car, he mortgaged it, rahan, which they call in Arabic, rahan, mortgaging it with someone. So when you will pay the money from his tarika to that person, he will release the vehicle, the car. Then this car will again become a tarika. It will become a part of tarika. So this has to be, released. This car or whatever is kept in rahan as a mortgage, it has to be released by paying money from the tarika. For example, this person had a car of 1 lakh rupees and he mortgaged it for, say, he took some loan of 20-30,000 rupees against this car of 1 lakh rupees. So what is to be done? 20,000 rupees are to be taken from the tarika, given to that person with whom the car is lying as a rahan, as a mortgage, and give him 20,000 rupees, take the car and add it to the tarika. It will become part of the tarika and leftover wealth, which will be distributed amongst the inheritors. So this is also a kind of dain. Okay, then the dain of Allah, as I said, it could be Hajj, it could be like a person did not fasted. He was supposed to fast in the month of Ramadan. He fell sick. He did not fast for 5 days. Then after that, 5 months he remained healthy. He was healthy for 5 months after Ramadan. He should have made up during that time. He did not make up. What is to be done? Expiation is to be given. His, the close relatives of this person, either they should fast on his behalf, or kafara for each day of fasting which he did not fast, kafara has to be given out. Yani, if he did not fast for 6 days, 6 poor people are to be fed half a sa for each day of fasting, which means 6 poor people. So the money for feeding those 6 poor people has to be taken from the tarika. This is what is meant by dain of Allah. Okay, so tadum. Ta is tajheez, which is like kafan, dafan, washing. All those things fall under tajheez. First thing, you have to do tajheez of the mayyit. Second thing, see if there are any loans of Allah, loan of Allah, loan of makhluk. The first thing to be settled is loan of makhluk, and then the loan of Allah. Then the third thing, tadum, there is a vow after dal. The vow is for wasiya, which is the will. Okay, wasiya. Now, if this now we'll see if this person has made any wasiya. For example, as in that case, the grandfather died, and if this grandfather had made a will in favor of the grandson, who he knew that he will not inherit after his dad because his this dead person's other sons are alive. So he knew that because my other sons are alive, my grandson, this grandson of will not inherit. So what he did, he made a wasiya in the name of this grandson. Okay, that gave one third, which is the maximum wasiya which could be given to someone. So he made wasiya in favor of this grandson who was actually not an inheritor. So wasiya can only be made in favor of someone who is not becoming an inheritor principally. So he'll make a wasiya before dying that give one third wealth after my death to my this grandson X. So then this wasiya has to be executed from this tariqa. First, remove this amount tajheez, remove the amount for dain from the tariqa, and then whatever remains, one third of it, if he has made the wasiya, and he cannot make wasiya for more than one third, like for example, half of the wealth. No, he cannot give half of the wealth in wasiya. The maximum he can give is one third and less than one third. So if he says give one third wasiya, he has made the wasiya will in favor of this grandson, then that wasiya has to be executed first. So one third amount will go to grandson after the death. Then whatever remains in the tadum, in the finally comes the miras. Finally it comes the miras. The meme is for miras. So tadum, this is how the tadum is. Ta, dal, waw, and meme. Tajheez, dain, wasiya, miras. After doing all first these three, four things, whatever remains will become the miras. And then it will be distributed according to the laws of inheritance, which we are going to study in this course, inshallah, in the days to come. So this is miras. If nothing remains, no miras distribution. Khalas, finish. If all the wealth get exhausted at this place itself, the inheritors, they should not be given anything. Finish. End of the story. There is no distribution. No tariqa is left because after reaching this place. So nothing is to be given to anyone. So these are the masarif. These are the places from where, uh, from the leftover wealth, expenditures have to be done in this order only. Tajheez, dain, wasiya, and then miras finally. Okay. Now, what are the pillars of miras or virasat? What are the pillars of inheritance? What are the pillars of inheritance? So we have, and in this, like in the science of faraid, ilmul faraid, all things are like three only. You will see that, like arkan, pillars of the virasat, pillars of inheritance are three. What are those things? Number one, muwarris. Muwarris is, who is muwarris? Muwarris is the one who died. So you should have a person, a dying person, or a dead. You should have the mayyit, or the one from whom you will inherit. So definitely this, if this is not present, then there is no miras. There is no point in going further on talking about distribution of inheritance. So you should have the muwarris, the one from whom the inheritors will inherit, or you can call it as a person who died or who will die. So this is the muwarris. He is required. If he is not there, there is no inheritance. Number two, waris. Inheritors should be there. If there are no inheritors, no inheritance distribution. As we'll see, there are opinions like the Malikiya and the Shafi'iyya, rahimahumullah. They say, if there are no waris, this person has no relatives, absolutely no one, then this wealth will go to Baitul Mal. So there is no need for distribution of the miras. Okay. If in case if he has absolutely no waris, and this situation is very rare, but still there may be cases where you have no inheritors, there are no relatives who would inherit from this person who has died, and he may be millionaire, billionaire, and he has no relatives. Then in that case, what will happen? No inheritance distribution. And according to that opinion, the wealth will go to Baitul Mal. If there is a Baitul Mal. Now, then the third thing, Tarika, leftover wealth. Imagine if there is no leftover wealth. This person died without leaving anything behind. So no need to bother about the distribution of inheritance. Or in that case, as we saw earlier, if the money got exhausted at the stage of wasiya itself, All money got exhausted. So there is no need for distribution of inheritance. So these are the three pillars of inheritance. Muarris, he is the one who is inherited, yani the dying person or the person who died is known as Muarris. Waris is the inheritor. You should have the inheritors. Number three, Tarika, leftover wealth has to be there. If any of these one or more are missing, there is no inheritance then. You need not to worry about spending or need not to worry about calculating the inheritance of that person. Now, Asbabul Irs, on what grounds a person would inherit? Again, there are three. And there has to be a ground for making someone a inheritor, or anyone can walk and come and ask for inheritance. No, there are some reasons on the grounds of which a person can become an inheritor. So what are those reasons? There are only three. Only on the grounds of only three reasons a person can become an inheritor in Islam. What are those three reasons? Number one, nikah. On the grounds of nikah, a person can inherit, like a husband inheriting from a wife, and a wife inheriting from a husband. This relationship builds upon nikah. Okay, so they are only two inheritors which are which become inheritor on the grounds of nikah, husband and wife. His husband dies, wife inherits, and if wife dies, husband inherits. What, on what grounds? What is the sabab? What is the reason? Nikah. On the grounds of nikah they are inherit. So we should know the sabab also, why we are making someone an inheritor. We should know the sabab, the reason for it. And there are only three reasons. First one is nikah. Husband and wife, they inherit because of this reason, nikah. The second one is nasab, which is lineage, on the grounds of like blood relationship, lineage, nasab. This is the second one. Like, why would a father inherit from the son? Is it on the grounds of nikah? No, it is on the grounds of nasab, lineage. So a father inherits from the son on the ground of nasab. A brother inherits from another brother on the grounds of nasab. Likewise, a sister inherits from the brother who has died on the grounds of nasab. A grandson inherits from the grandfather on the grounds of nasab. And likewise, uncles, paternal uncles, they inherit again on the grounds of nasab. So, second one is the nasab, which is the lineage or blood relationship. And mostly you will find that the inheritors, they are from the side of the father, where there are very few which inherit from the side of the mother. Very few. Majority of them are from the male side, because this, like blood relationships or the lineages, they are established through male chain. They are established through male chains, as against the Jews, wherein for them it is established to the female chains, as against the Jews. But here it is like paternal system. The lineages are established through the males. So majority of the inheritors, as we'll see in the days to come, they are related through the male only, through the males only, related to this dead body. Most of them are males, except for a couple of them only. Majority of them are males who inherit on the grounds of nasab. Females also inherit, because I said majority of them are males, but there are females as well, like sisters, daughters, granddaughters. So there are like mother. So there are females also, but majority of them are males, and they are inheriting on the grounds of nasab, which is lineage or blood relationship. The third one, which doesn't exist now anymore, is known as wala. Wala. Wala is it was a kind of, in fact, a relationship which used to be built up between master and a slave, master and his slave. So this has to do with slavery system earlier, when it was there. And Islam has encouraged freeing the slaves. Islam actually encouraged freeing the slaves. Islam does not encourage to make someone slave. Islam encouraged actually to free the slaves. This is the reason expiation for a number of things in Islam. One of them is to free a slave. Tahriru raqabatim mu'mina, free a believing slave. This is what like tell you that Islam urges to free a slave. Does not urge you to make someone a slave. So wala is kind of a relationship which is established between master and his slave. When this master frees this slave, then a relationship is built between them, and this relationship is known as wala. Okay, when the master has freed his slave, then a relationship is established between them, which is known as wala, on the grounds of which the master can inherit from the slave. If he died and if he has no relative, if the slave he dies, this freed slave, okay, the freed slave who has died, and he has absolutely no relatives at all, except for this master, then this master will inherit on what grounds? What is the sabab? The sabab is wala. The sabab is wala. So this is the third one, which doesn't exist now. So we are like, we'll be focusing more on nikah and the nasab only. And this is like it doesn't exist, but it existed back then, and hence normally the books they tell you that these are the only three reasons for inheriting from someone. There is no fourth reason on the ground of like neighbor's son. He came and he like he was obedient to us. He served us when we were old, and hence I'll make him my son or my daughter. No, this is not there. This is not at all a reason for inheriting from someone. The most you can do is do a will in their favor. That is also maximum one third, not more than that. This is maximum you can do. This wasiya, the will, it can be even be made in the favor of a non-Muslim also. The person can make it in the favor of non-Muslim also. But through will only, not through inheritance. Why? Because the only three asbab of inheriting from a person are these three: nikah, nasab, and wala. So remember, arkan of the virasat or the heirs or the inheritance are three: muarris, waris, and tarika. The asbab of the heirs are also three. On what grounds someone can become inheritor? They are also three: nikah, nasab, and wala. What are the conditions? Shurut. What are the conditions of inheritance? On what grounds will make someone an inheritor? What are the shurut, the conditions of it? And condition is something which, if it is not found, then that thing, mashrut, will also not be found. Yani there is no need to worry about that later. If the shart is not found, for example, uh, the shart for the correctness of the prayer is tahara, cleanliness. Okay, wudu. If you are not in the state of wudu, can you pray? You cannot pray. Why? Because the condition is missing. What is the condition? Condition is tahara. You should be in the state of cleanliness. You should be in the state of wudu in order for your prayer to be acceptable. Likewise, here also, if any of these conditions are not fulfilled, which are actually there are three, there is one more, I will tell you. If any of these three conditions are not fulfilled, then there is no distribution. No need to worry about the distribution of inheritance. What is it? The first one. The first one, tahaqququ mautil mu'arris, which means death of this mu'arris, the one who you are going to inherit. It should be confirmed. It should be confirmed either physically, actually, haqiqatan, or hukman. Haqiqatan is like a person, like he had a heart attack and he died. It is confirmed. And doctor came and said, yes, he has died. This is haqiqatan. This is real death. This is real death. There is also a death which is hukman, like a judge declares a person to be dead. For example, a person, he went missing. He went missing, and we'll talk about the case of mafqood, a missing person, how to deal with it. A person went missing, say for example 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, he did not come. So now what to do? He has his wealth. He has his this person's wife is there, children are there. How long should the wife wait? When is it possible for the wife to remarry someone else? When will it be possible to distribute? This person was a millionaire. He went somewhere. How long we have to keep his wealth with us? After all, his wealth has to be distributed amongst his inheritors. When to do that? Who will decide? Then the qazi, the judge will decide based on, like there are certain rulings which we are not going to study all those things. But all these things are done in a proper manner. A judge, a qazi will decide that when to declare this person dead. In different mazahib have different time frames. There are certain mazahib who say that you have to wait until 90 years. Yani when this person would have reached the age of 90 years, after that you have to declare him dead. There are some who say no, you have to wait for 2 years from the last information which you received about him being alive. The last information you receive about him being alive, from that time you have to wait for 4 years, for example. So different mazahib have different rules. They have set up different rules. for considering this person to be dead. But anyway, the Qazi will finally decide that, and then he will declare after a particular period has passed, a fixed amount of period has passed, according to the mazhab, whichever this mazhab the Qadi follows, Hanbali, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanafi, whatever mazhab he follows, he will declare that person to be dead, though he has not died actually. But since we don't have any news about him, so what to do? Declare him dead. So this death is known as hukman. Why? Because the Qazi ruled it. We don't know whether he has died or not. But what to do? How long to wait? The maximum period is the fuqaha, rahimahumullah, they have let us know. After waiting for this much period, okay, the Qazi has the, he has the authority to declare him dead. Once the Qazi will declare him dead on papers, hukman, when he will rule him dead, then after that, his inheritance will then be distributed. This is what is meant by tahaqququ mawtil muwarrisi, that the death of the muwarris has to be ascertained either in reality or in terms of ruling, which the Qazi will declare. The first thing. Second thing, tahaqququ hayatil warisi bada mawtil muwarrisi. This is also important. The waris, the one who is inheriting, he is alive. So that should also be ascertained that the inheritor was alive at the time of death of the muwarris. Say, for example, Zaid, he died. He had two sons, Amr and Umar. Zaid had two sons, Amr and Umar. So the first thing what we have to confirm that Umar has died. Doctor will come and he will say, yes, the breathing has stopped. The heart beating is, there is no more heart beating. He is dead. Now he will declare him dead. So this is actual physical death, real death. The first thing is confirmed. Tahaqquk mawt. Now second thing, Umar and Amr, were they alive, breathing at the time of death of Zaid? Yes, they were alive. So this condition is also fulfilled. But for example, if Zaid had three sons, Zaid had three sons, Amr, Umar, Khalid. Amr, Umar, Khalid. Khalid had died already earlier, even before, and when this Zaid was alive, at that time itself, Khalid died before, a number of years back. So now Zaid had three sons, one of them died in the life of Zaid itself. So if we come and see in this area now, so can we say that since Zaid had three sons, so the inheritance also has to be given to Khalid? Because at one point in time he was a son of Zaid. No, we say why no? Because tahaqquq hayatil waris, this Zaid, this Khalid was not alive at the time of death of Zaid. And since this condition is not being fulfilled in favor of Khalid, and hence we cannot give inheritance to Khalid. We cannot give him any inheritance because he already had died in the life of Zaid itself, yani his father. So both these conditions should be fulfilled in order for us to give inheritance to that person. Or so number one, his death, if he has not died yet. We talked about this earlier, that there are people who try to distribute the inheritance in their life itself. What they are doing is they are going against this condition. If this condition is not fulfilled, how can they distribute the inheritance? It is not possible. It is not possible because this is a shart, and as I explained you what shart is. If the shart is not fulfilled, the mashroot is also, it doesn't exist anymore. So there is no inheritance. Why? Because the shart is not fulfilled. Just like that person who has not made wudu and then he is going to the masjid to offer the prayer. Will this prayer be acceptable? No, it will not be acceptable. Same is the case with anything where there are conditions. Okay, second thing, tahaqquq hayatil waris. This also should be there. Khalid, Zaid, Khalid, Amr, and Omar. They should be alive. Any one of them, if he is not alive and he died even before this person, Zaid, then he has no share in the inheritance. Why? Because this condition is not fulfilled. At the time of death of Muwarris, who all the inheritors are alive, only they are the ones who will inherit. Those who have died before him, they will not inherit. Remember this, it is very important. It is very important that those who have died before the death of the Muwarris, they will not inherit. Straightforward. This is the reason it is very important when, like when somebody comes to you and asks you about a masala about how to distribute inheritance, it is very important we ask them, give us a complete list of inheritors plus when they died in the brackets with date, month and year. better write it very clearly so that we know who is to be made the inheritor and who is not. Those who have died before the death of the muwaris, there is no point in talking about them, and they will not be considered in the inheritance distribution anymore. So this is the second shart. The third shart is actually, it is related to this only, asbabul irs. Yani you should know on what grounds you are making someone an inheritor. Is it on the grounds of nikah? Is it on the grounds of wala, or is it on the grounds of nasab? So this is the third shart of the heirs, that you should be aware of the grounds or the reason on which you are making someone an inheritor and who takes the priority. These things we will discuss a little later, that amongst the male inheritors there is actually a priority which you have to follow. In that order only you have to give them the inheritance. You cannot, like come and say, no, anyone I can choose and give. No, you have to follow a particular order only, and it is a very easy order. We'll talk about it, inshallah. So these are the three conditions of heirs. Now there are also things which actually prevent someone from inheriting, and they are also three. This is the reason I said, the figure of three is very common in this inheritance studies. So mawani ul heirs, things which prevent someone from inheriting. There are certain attributes or certain things which prevent someone from inheriting from the inheritor. What are those things? Again, they are three. Number one, qatl, murder. If a person kills his muwarris, like a son killed his father, then he will not inherit. The son will not inherit. It is not the qatl of anyone, like, it is not any murderer. Yani a person, he murdered some XYZ. We cannot say, no, you are a killer, so no. The murder is of whom? Murder of the muwarris. Like a son killing the father. Why? Because the son is going to inherit from the father. So this death, this killing is actually, or this murder is actually, will become a preventer. It will prevent this person, this son, from inheriting from his father on the grounds of this qatl, on the ground of qatl. So any person who kills his muwarris, any person who kills his, or for example, a father killing his son, father killing the son, then he cannot inherit. Why? Because he killed the one who he could have inherited from after his death. And this applies to all those relationships wherein a person who is killing his muwarris from whom he is going to inherit later, then that person will be deprived of the inheritance. Will be deprived of the inheritance. Why? Because of the chance of this person killing him for the purpose of achieving or gaining the inheritance. Because that doubt exists, this person is absolutely blocked and deprived of taking anything from the inheritance. The first thing is the qatl. Whoever kills the muwarris, then he cannot inherit from him. Straightforward. It is as if he doesn't exist anymore. Second, ikhtilafuddin. People of two different religion cannot inherit, like those who are coming into the fold of Islam, they were like non-Muslims. The son accepted Islam, the father did not accept the Islam. Then when the father will die, who is still a non-Muslim, this son cannot inherit from this father, though the relationship will remain, they are father son. But when it comes to inheriting, this son will not inherit from his father who was a disbeliever. Why? Ikhtilafuddin. Because they have different religions, and there is no inheritance between two people who are different in religion. Likewise, the son died who was a Muslim, and the father was a non-Muslim. The father will also not inherit from this son who has died, who was a Muslim son. The father will not inherit from him. This is known as ikhtilafuddin. The third is riqqa, which is slavery. Slavery also prevents a person from inheriting. Why? Because a slave, he has nothing of his own. Whatever comes to the slave, it becomes of his master. It becomes the property of the master. Though this thing, it doesn't exist anymore now, but still, as we said, we study it because it existed back then. But this, it doesn't exist now in these times. So riqqa is slavery. So this person, if for example, this son is a slave, the father, he dies. So this son will not inherit from the father. Why? Because he is a slave to someone else. He is under slavery with someone else. So he will not inherit from his father. Why? Because if he will inherit, it will go to his master. And this is not the purpose. The wealth belongs to him, not to his master. But the moment he'll inherit, that wealth will go to the master because he is a slave to that master. And the slave, he has nothing of his own. All that he has, it belongs to his master. And this is the reason a slave, it doesn't inherit from his muwarris. So these are the three reasons which prevent one from inheriting from someone. Qatl, ikhtilafuddin, riqqa. So pillars of inheritance are three. What are they? Muwarris. Try to memorize the name in Arabic itself. It will help you. Muwarris. Muwarris is like the one who is dying, because ultimately he will be inherited. So muwarris, the dying person. The second one is the waris, the one who will inherit. This is the second one. Pillars. And the third one is the tarika, the leftover wealth. These are the three pillars of inheritance. The second thing which we talked about is these asbab of inheritance. What are the bases, the grounds based on which a person inherits? There are also three. We talked about number one, nikah, marriage. Number two, nasab, which is the blood relationship, lineage. Number three, wala. And I explained what wala is. It is a kind of relationship which is made or established between a master and his slave who he has freed now, or she has freed. So the person who frees, yani the master, he is known as mu'tiq. Mu'tiq. Ataqa yatiqu mu'tiq. Mim ain ta qaf. Mu'tiq. Okay, he is known as mu'tiq, the one who is freeing the slave. And the slave is known as mu'taq. So, for example, male master is known as mu'tiq, and female mistress is known as mu'tiqa, the one who frees a slave, a woman. Like Aisha radiallahu anha, she set free her freed slave. She had a slave, she set her free. You may have heard the story of Barira radiallahu anha. She was a slave woman with Aisha radiallahu anha, but then she freed her, Barira. So she became what? There existed a relationship of wala between Aisha radiallahu anha and Barira radiallahu anha. That relationship was known as wala. So if, for example, if Barira dies and if she has no relatives at all, then Aisha radiallahu anha could inherit from her on the grounds of the sabab which is known as wala. This is what wala is. So Aisha radiallahu anha would be called mu'tiqa. Mu'tiqa, because she was the one who set her free. Mu'tiqa. So she was mu'tiqa, and Barira radiallahu anha was the slave woman who got free. So she is known as Maula. Maula, freed slave. So these are three reasons. Then we studied about the conditions. They are also three. In the conditions, we said the three conditions are: the first one, the death of the muwarris is to be ascertained that he has died in actually he has died, either physically, in reality, or hukman, as I explained you by like with a judge order or the legal order. Second thing, we must also establish the life, that the waris, the inheritors, are alive at the time of the death of the muwarris, which means if a person, like there are, this happens a lot, and we'll discuss this also towards the end of our class, and the actual course. In a car accident, all of the family died all at once. Father, son, all of them were traveling together. So who will inherit from who? So all of these things will depend on the postmortem report then. Even if there is a difference of 1 second, then that will decide who is the inheritor and who is the muwaris and who is the waris. Who should be inherited and who will be the inheritor? What will decide the time of death? Even if there is a difference of 1 second, like father died 1 second before and the son died 1 second after the father, and this is possible now. In present times, it is possible to precisely know who died when, at what time, in seconds, like at this, and at this hour, this minute, and this second, this person died, and the second one died at this time. We can know precisely now. So the one who died later, even if it by 1 second, then he will become the inheritor. And we'll study, it is very interesting, as we'll come to know, that how the wealth of this person then will be distributed to his inheritors finally. Now, this son, they also died. He would also be having some inheritors, like his children, his wife, or some others like brothers and sisters who are not traveling in the car. So we also have to ascertain who died first and who died later. The one who was alive at the time of death of the muwarris, they are the only ones who will become the inheritors. Even if there is a difference of 1 second between them, that will also govern who is the one who is muwarris and who is the one who is waris. A time difference of just 1 second will decide that. So this was the second thing. The third thing, or the third shart, is to know the sabab, on what ground somebody is becoming an inheritor. You should know that. Who is closer, who is farther in terms of relationship, who is to be given the right before, who is to be given the right later after this person. All of these things also should be known to a person who is distributing the inheritance, the scholar, the mufti. He should be aware of these shurut, the three of them. And finally, the mawane ol heirs, those things which prevent a person from inheriting from the inheritor, from the muwarris. What are those things? They are also three. Number one, qatl, which is a murder, killing someone. Like someone means a person kills one's muwarris, like a son killing the father. Then the son cannot inherit. Why? Because he is qatil. The qatil son cannot inherit from his father. The Islam has come to block that so that nobody tries to, in an hope, to, I know, like quickly get the inheritance. The father is millionaire. He is not dying. What to do? Let us kill him and grab all the inheritance. No. In order to prevent that, Islam has come and put this mawane, that somebody, if he is found, even if this qatl is a a qatl of mistake, khata, mistake killing, then also he'll not inherit. Why? Because there is still a chance that this son may have done something to look it like a khata and a mistake, a killing which happened by mistake. There are ways people do it to make it appear that way, that it was a mistake killing. It happened, by mistake. To block that means completely, even if it is a killing by mistake, like father was crossing the road, the son was driving the vehicle and he hit father and father died because of this. No, even by mistake, if you kill your father, you will not inherit. The scholars say no, he will not inherit, because still there are chances. Who knows what is behind, inside his heart? Maybe he was trying to do that. He got a chance, an opportunity, and tried to make it an accident. So Islam has come and blocked that area completely by saying that a qatil will not inherit, be it deliberate killing or be it a killing out of mistake or an accident. He will not inherit. Finish. End of the story. Likewise, ikhtilafuddin. If the religion is different, different religion, people of different religion will not inherit from each other. And I tell you, just like a side point, there is Shia. Shia, they are not Muslims. So if somebody is Shia, and maybe from their family, son and daughters, they have accepted Islam and they have become Sunni, then this son and daughter, they will not inherit from their Shia father. Why? Because according to majority of the scholars, the Shia, they are not Muslims. They are not Muslims. They may call themselves Shia Muslim, but this doesn't go. It is a kind of a misnomer. How can someone be a Shia at the same time Muslim? Shia Muslim, this is not correct. I've heard people saying, who are you? You say, I'm Shia Muslim. No, how is it? Either you are a Muslim or you're Shia. You cannot be Shia Muslim together. You are not a Muslim. Shia is not a Muslim. Rafidi, they are not Muslim. They curse the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. And, like scholars have differed whether to call them, like kafir on the grounds of they calling or abusing the companions. That's a, an issue of disagreement amongst the scholars. But even bigger thing is that they give the divinity to Ali Raziyallahu anhu, which is actually the thing which takes them out of the fold of Islam. They consider their imams to be infallible and divine. They consider their imams to be better than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the things which actually take them out of the fold of Islam. Let go with they abusing the companions. While this is really great thing, a big thing which they are doing, they will be held accountable in the sight of Allah for a cursing and abusing the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which we consider them to be all just and adl, all the companions. There is no one better on the face of earth other than after the Anbiya and the prophets and the messengers, besides that generation. They are the best of the people to ever walk on the face of earth. This is the Aqidah of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And then they come and they like abuse the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, they abuse Aisha radiallahu anha, Hafsa radiallahu anha, Umar radiallahu anhu, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, Uthman radiallahu anhu. Who are they to do that? They will be dealt with strongly, inshallah. You can hope and pray that Allah will deal with them strongly. But because they are considering Ali radiallahu anhu to be divine, they consider their imams to be divine and infallible, that itself is more than enough to take them out of the fold of Islam because of their corrupt aqidah, the corrupt creed. Okay, so ikhtilafuddin. The Bohri, the Dawoodi Bohras, they are also a branch of Shia. Somebody who is a Bohri, and from amongst them, Allah guided someone and they accepted Sunni Islam. This person then cannot inherit from his father who died as a Bohri, died as a Dawoodi Bohra. So this person who accepted Islam from that family, he cannot inherit, even if he be millionaire, billionaire. Leave it for the sake of Allah. Leave it for the sake of Allah. Allah will open up for you at numerous avenues to inherit or to earn money from areas where you can't even imagine. So remember this ikhtilafuddin. You cannot inherit. A non-Muslim cannot inherit from a Muslim. Likewise, a Muslim cannot or a non-Muslim cannot inherit from a Muslim, and Muslim cannot inherit from a non-Muslim. Both ways it doesn't work. Both have to be Muslim. Number three, slavery, which doesn't exist anymore. But a slave, it cannot inherit. It cannot inherit. Why? Because slave has nothing of his own. All that he will earn, it will go to his master. But this doesn't exist. The slavery system, it doesn't exist anymore. Don't consider the housemaids which come to your house for like household work. They are not your slaves. Unfortunately, people think that they fall under this category, but no, they are not. You are paying them. It is just like a contract, a monthly rental contract which you have agreed with them. You are paying them for their service, and they are giving you their service. So they are actually service providers. They are providing you their services as against some money which you agreed amongst yourself. So they are not. They will not come under the category of riqqa. People think it like that. So anyway, these were the mawani of irs. Okay, so with this we have come to the end of our first lecture. I think we should stop for this class here. Tomorrow we'll start really hardcore into the actual fiqh of inheritance. There are certain things which you have to memorize. There is no other way. You have to memorize some rules. You have to memorize some conditions, which as we'll go further, I will tell you each and everything. But I will not be able to help you in those things because there is absolutely no other way than to memorize those things. Like, for example, the number of inheritors. Who are the inheritors in Islam? Who become inheritors? This is nothing but you memorize. But there is an easy way to do that. This is why I am here to make things easy, to break them down into like small chunks of food so that you can easily pick them up and eat and digest them. This is my job is going to be. But ultimately, you will have to cooperate in memorizing. And this is something which I expect from you. Before we begin every class, before beginning it, maybe we'll try to begin the class 15 minutes early. Instead of 2, we can open it up at 1:45. In this period of 15 minutes, I'll be asking you questions of the previous class. Each one of you, I'll ask each one of you one by one quickly the questions you will have to answer. This will help us in like retaining the knowledge, in memorizing, so that you know that you have to prepare for the next class. You will come prepare for the next class by memorizing what we studied in the previous class, and this will be beneficial for you because memorization is required in this fiqhul miras, in this ilmul faraid. Memorization is must. There are not too many rules. Not too many rules. Now, as you'll see, it is so easy that some of the rules they keep on repeating. They keep on repeating. You just need to memorize 4 rules, and then they just keep on repeating. So it is very easy. It is not difficult, but you have to put in efforts. Otherwise, I will not be able to help you. I can only, like break it down and make it simple. But memorization, you have to do. In order to ensure that, as I'm saying, we'll open the class 15 minutes earlier. You have to come into the class. You cannot come at 2 to, like to avoid these questioning. No, it is for your benefit. So you join the classes on 1:45. We'll have a small question answer session. I'll ask you and you'll have to answer. For those who are able to open the mic and answer, well and good. For those who can't, then type in the chat box so that I can know that you have understood the previous class, so that when we go further, we are all on the same page, right? So inshallah, we'll begin with Aqsamul Warisin. In the tomorrow's class, maybe we'll try to cover 2 chapters tomorrow, so that by the end of the Ramadan, we are done with almost all of the course, inshallah. This yani ilmul faraid, it is divided into 2 parts. One part is the fiqh, fiqh, the understanding, the actual subject matter, the fiqh. The second part is the hisab, calculation. So it is made up of 2 parts, fiqh and hisab. Fiqh will complete inshallah in 4 lectures or 5 lectures maximum. Whole fiqh of Islamic inheritance, whole fiqh of ilmul faraid, it will get completed in just 4 lectures. Imagine how easy it is. Only 4 lectures. And all the rules, all the list of inheritors, all of it will be done in 4 or 5 class. Khalas. After it, there is only calculation, which is mathematics. And that is not like some rocket engineering. Only subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, and LCM, least common multiple. And all of us know, these things like how to calculate the least common multiple. And if you don't know, we'll learn that also. It will not take yani more than 5 minutes to know how to calculate LCM. We'll learn that as well. So this is simple mathematics which will be utilized in the Hisab section. And some very interesting cases will come. Some of those, like tough cases which you consider to be tough. But how easily we can solve them, you'll realize it once we go there, inshallah. So let us end it here. Tomorrow we'll see, I will meet at 1:45, begin with the question answers, and then we'll begin our class at 2, inshallah. Until then, subhanakallahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum. So if you have any questions, we can take that.